Damn, this shit look crazy. You did big pieces. This shit turned.
When Lil Pump strutted into Icebox Atlanta at the height of his Gucci Gang fame, he wasn't looking for a standard Cuban link or a simple solitaire ring. He was there to commission a piece of history, a $360,000 custom pendant that literally held a mirror up to his own viral persona. This diamond selfie chain featuring his likeness encrusted in multicolored stones and miniature diamond grills became an instant internet sensation, blurring the lines between high-end gemology and meme culture.
So we're here in Miami to deliver Pump's new piece. I was planning on shipping it to him, but when I showed him on FaceTime, he demanded I get on the next flight, so we're out here. Check it out.
But beyond the flash and the Eskeetit ad-libs, this visit marked a pivotal moment in how Gen Z stars interact with legacy jewelers, turning a routine shopping trip into a $500,000 floor-shaking event involving literal rainstorms of cash. As we peel back the layers of this high-octane encounter, we'll uncover the engineering secrets behind the pendant and the shocking reason this visit almost ended in a total security shutdown. By the end of this breakdown, you'll see why this wasn't just a purchase. It was the ultimate power move in the attention economy. To understand the sheer scale of the diamond selfie era, we have to travel back to the summer of 2018, a time when Lil Pump wasn't just a rapper, he was a global phenomenon operating at the absolute peak of the SoundCloud rap explosion. Fresh off the triple platinum success of Gucci Gang, and just weeks after his high-energy performance on The Tonight Show, Pump had become the face of a new generation that valued chaotic energy and extreme visibility over traditional industry norms. This was the year he famously voided an $8 million Warner Brothers contract on a technicality, only to re-sign for a staggering amount, essentially making him an 18-year-old with more liquid capital than sense. When he landed in Atlanta for his visit to Icebox, he wasn't just stopping by for a piece of jewelry, he was arriving as a titan of the attention economy, ready to solidify his Eskeetit brand with a physical monument that could be seen from the back row of a festival stage. I have completed section 2, the lead, approximately 178 words. Please let me know if I should continue with the next section. The engineering of the diamond selfie pendant required a level of technological sophistication that traditional hand carving simply could not achieve. To capture Lil Pump's exact likeness, from his signature multicolored dreadlocks to his hyper-expressive facial features, the team at Icebox utilized advanced 3D scanning and medical-grade CAD software. This process allowed them to create a digital double of the rapper, which was then 3D printed in high-resolution resin to serve as the master mold for the 14-karat white gold casting. But the real magic happened in the stone setting phase, where over 3,000 individual VVS diamonds were hand set into the gold to create a shimmering skin effect. Most impressive was the miniature diamond grill inside the pendant's mouth, featuring microscopic baguette-cut stones that cost more than most people's cars. This piece was not just jewelry, it was a high-tech feat of engineering that required hundreds of hours of labor to ensure that every angle of the selfie reflected light with surgical precision. I have completed section 3, the selfie anatomy, approximately 176 words. Please let me know if I should continue with the next section. To truly understand the Eskeetit economy, we have to examine the radical financial philosophy of a teenager who treated million-dollar checks like arcade tokens. For Lil Pump, jewelry wasn't just a luxury, it was a high-frequency marketing expense. While most financial advisors would scream at the sight of an 18-year-old dropping $4.5 million on a mansion out of boredom or returning a Lamborghini after just 2 weeks, Pump operated on a different logic, the logic of the youngest flexor. In his world, a $300,000 diamond chain from Icebox functioned as a permanent billboard that validated his brand 24/7. To Pump, traditional assets like stocks or bonds were invisible, and invisibility was the only thing he couldn't afford. This era was defined by a specific kind of high-velocity spending, where the goal wasn't to save wealth, but to move it through the culture as loudly as possible. It's an economy where iced-out equity outweighs long-term security, creating a chaotic, glittering portfolio portfolio that most people wouldn't dare to replicate. The visual of the diamond selfie pendant is only half the story. The real chaos erupted during what has since been dubbed the $500,000 rain incident. Picture this: Lil Pump, an 18-year-old with a hyperactive streak and a duffel bag full of literal racks of cash, decided that a standard transaction wasn't enough for his brand. Inside the polished, high-security showroom of Icebox, he began throwing thousands of dollars into the air, creating a literal money storm that carpeted the floor in $100 bills. This wasn't just a flex for the cameras, it was a logistical nightmare for the Icebox staff, as Pump literally swam through the sea of cash and jokingly called for non-existent strippers to join the party. The showroom security had to balance the rapper's wild energy with the very real risk of $500,000 in loose currency sitting in plain sight. This moment captured the friction between traditional luxury and the lawless energy of the SoundCloud era, where a shopping trip could turn into a security lockdown in the blink of an eye. While some might view a diamond-encrusted miniature of one's own face as the ultimate act of vanity, in the high-stakes theater of hip-hop, the Mini-Me pendant is a calculated psychological maneuver. By immortalizing his own image in $360,000 worth of precious stones, Lil Pump was participating in a tradition of self-deification that traces back to the iconic Jesus pieces of the 90s, but with a distinct modern twist, where previous generations looked to external deities or historical figures for protection and status. The SoundCloud era turned the camera inward, making the artist's own brand the new religion. At Icebox, this piece functioned as a physical manifestation of Pump's youngest flexor doctrine, a way to ensure that even when he wasn't speaking, his image was screaming success in a language of VVS clarity. It's a bold statement of self-reliance. By wearing himself around his neck, he signaled to the world that he was both the creator and the product of his own multi-million-dollar universe, proving that in the age of the viral selfie, your own face is the most valuable asset you can own. The synergy between Lil Pump and Icebox represents a watershed moment in digital marketing, where a retail jewelry store effectively transformed into a premier media house. By the time Pump's visits began to trend, Icebox had already intuited that the traditional barriers between customer and content were disappearing. They didn't just sell him a pendant, they documented the entire high-stakes negotiation, the chaotic rain of currency, and the meticulous craftsmanship, turning a private transaction into a public spectacle with millions of views. This strategy allowed Icebox to bypass traditional advertising, using Pump's explosive viral energy to reach a global audience of young consumers who now viewed the Atlanta showroom as a cultural landmark rather than just a store. It was a masterclass in organic branding. Lil Pump received the ultimate flex, and Icebox received a level of brand equity that money simply cannot buy in the traditional ad market. The diamond selfie pendant's technical execution pushed the limits of modern jewelry design, specifically through its mastery of the micro-pave technique. While traditional jewelry uses large prongs to secure stones, the Icebox artisans utilized microscopic beads, often smaller than 0.2 millimeters, to anchor over 3,000 VVS diamonds. This creates an invisible metal effect where the pendant appears to be a solid, breathing carpet of light. The most intricate detail, however, was the integration of the baguette teeth. Unlike the round, brilliant cuts used for the skin, the teeth were carved from straight-edged baguette diamonds, meticulously aligned to mimic a flawless dental grill. This required the setters to work under high-powered surgical microscopes, as even a fraction of a millimeter in misalignment would ruin the 3D portrait effect. The result was a $360,000 masterpiece that didn't just look like Lil Pump, it possessed the same structural depth and texture as a living human face, proving that at this level, jewelry is no longer an accessory. It is a feat of precision engineering. In the final analysis, Lil Pump's diamond selfie remains a glittering time capsule of a specific moment in pop culture history, a time when the digital and physical worlds collided in the most expensive way possible. While the 2018 era of Eskeetit has evolved, with Pump recently surfacing in 2025/2026, making high-ticket moves at timepiece trading and exploring the NFT space to digitize his VVS assets, the Icebox selfie stands as the ultimate symbol of his brand's peak velocity. It wasn't just about the gold or the thousands of diamonds. It was about a young artist taking full ownership of his viral identity and turning it into a $360,000 monument that could never be deleted. As we look back on the money rain and the surgical precision of that miniature diamond grill, we see a legacy of audacity that changed the jewelry game forever. If you've made it this far, you're part of the elite 1% who actually cares about the real craftsmanship and the high-stakes economy behind the music, you've seen the receipts, and you've seen the chaos. Don't let the shine fade here. If you want to be the first to see our next deep dive into the hidden vaults of the world's biggest stars, including our upcoming audit of Kanye's Bully era pieces, hit that subscribe button right now.